In this video, we're going to be talking about the possible disappearance of the Y chromosome and what that could mean for us humans. Scientists found out that the Y chromosome has been shrinking over millions of years, and if this continues, it could eventually vanish. So let's find out what's happening and what it means for the future. Firstly, let's start with some basics as to how sex is determined in us humans. If you studied biology, you must be very well aware that humans have two sex chromosomes, X and Y. Males usually have one X chromosome and one Y chromosome, while females have two X chromosomes. Now, the Y chromosome is small in size but essential because it carries the SRY gene, and this SRY gene is responsible for male sex determination, meaning when the SRY gene is present and active, it starts the development of male characteristics, causing the formation of testes, which then produces male hormones like the testosterone. And as we know, these hormones guide the development of male physical traits. Now, if the SRY gene is absent, like in us females, because we have two X chromosomes, and so the embryo develops as a female by default. The X chromosome is much larger than the Y chromosome. The X chromosome contains around 900 genes, while the Y chromosome has somewhere between 50 and 200 genes. Although people often associate the X and the Y chromosome with determining whether someone is a male or female, the X chromosome actually does a lot more than just sex determination. In fact, most of the genes on the X chromosomes are not related to determining sex at all. Instead, they play an important role in many other areas. For example, the X chromosome has genes that help with things like building up proteins. They also have genes that helps with supporting our immune system, and it is also said that the X chromosome has genes which helps with our brain development. And this is why the X chromosome is so much bigger than the Y, because it has to handle a lot more responsibilities affecting both males and females. Whereas the Y chromosome, it primarily focuses on male development such as sperm productions and other male traits. Okay, so now let's talk about why these Y chromosomes are shrinking in size. Scientists have observed that the Y chromosome has been shrinking for millions of years now. At one point, it had approximately 1400 genes, but over the last 166 million years, yes, I'm not sure how they figured out this exact figure, but over the last 166 million years, the Y chromosome has lost most of its genes, leaving just around 55 functional ones today. This shrinkage occurs because the Y chromosome does not undergo genetic recombination like the X chromosome does. Recombination basically helps repair damaged genes, but since the Y chromosome does not have a matching partner to swap genes with, it gradually deteriorates over time. Now, if the shrinking trend continues, scientists estimates that the Y chromosome could disappear entirely within the next 10 to 11 million years. This raises the crucial question: if the Y chromosome disappears, how will human continue to produce males? But I guess we have some hope. Interestingly, some animals have already lost their Y chromosomes and they still manage to survive. We have two rodent species, mole voles from Eastern Europe and spiny rats from Japan, who have completely lost their Y chromosomes but they're still able to reproduce. This suggests that it's possible for mammals to adapt and develop new ways to determine sex. In the case of the spiny rat, researchers led by, now I apologize if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but I'm gonna try. So, researchers led by Asato Kuroiwa at Hokkaido University discovered that most of the Y chromosome genes had relocated to other chromosomes. Even without the SRY genes, these rats still managed to produce males. The key discovery was a small piece of DNA near the SOX9 gene on chromosome 3, which acts as a new switch for male development. This small duplication of DNA was found in all the male spiny rats but not in females, indicating that it compensates for the missing SRY gene, allowing the rats to produce male offspring. When this DNA duplication was introduced into mice, it boosted SOX9 activity, suggesting that mammals can indeed evolve new sex determining systems when the Y chromosome is lost. So the question now is, could humans adapt in a similar way? The fact that rodents like the spiny rat that we just talked about have managed to survive without a Y chromosome, it definitely provides us some hope. So if we humans were to lose the Y chromosome, there is still a possibility that we could evolve a new gene, like the spiny rats did, which would take over the role of determining our male sex. However, it's important, to know or remember that these kind of evolutionary changes, it might still take millions of years. It's nothing that's going to happen today or tomorrow. But we have another possibility which may sound very pessimistic, because if the Y chromosome disappears and we don't evolve an alternative way to produce males, it could eventually lead to the extinction of human race, because without males, without this sperm, human reproduction would just not be possible. So, although it's a concern for millions of years down the road, but still, let's just hope for the best that even if our males lose their Y chromosome, but still there might be a way to reproduce to prevent the extinction of our human race.